Guys, let us look at this example 6, which involves again chain rule or combination of many different rules that we have learned so far in derivatives. So guys, looking at this, it is slightly different than again any of those other examples that we have seen so far. What is already given to us and what we need to figure out, let us look at this carefully. Guys, it says we have a function h of x, which is basically a composite function, a combination of f function and the g function. And given these pieces of information, like we know what the value of the function f when x is 1, and we know the derivative value of the derivative of the function when x is 1 for f and g, and then we also know the value for the function g when x is 1, and we know the derivatives at actually when x is 2 and when x is 3. So guys, there's a lot of kind of information in points and things that is already provided to us. All we need to figure out is the h prime of 1. So in order to find the h prime of 1, one of the things that I started with, like when I tried to do it, what I did first was I tried to see if I can figure out the h of 1. Although later I realized that it's not asking me to find h of 1. So that was just an extra work that I did for no use. But guys, I want to still share with you, like, if you are not sure, if one is not sure. So when I actually started working on this example, I was not 100% sure how to actually start the problem, like exactly how to start the actual problem, how to start the solution method. So I thought, like, let me first try and see if I can evaluate h of 1, and maybe that has something to do, or that will help me to evaluate h prime of 1. Later I realized that was not a good strategy, but guys, that is fine. Sometimes we don't know exactly what is the right strategy to start a problem. So you start with what you feel like starting, and then for me it did not work out. Then I moved to second step and I did something different, and then it worked out. Okay, so what I did was I first tried to figure out h of 1. To find h of 1, what I did, I went back to the original function because it is already provided to me. So if I have to substitute, or if I substitute x equal to 1 here, then this is going to look like f of g of 1, right? Because if I substitute x1 here, obviously I got to substitute that x1 on the right hand side as well. So once I did that, then I was like, okay, there's an h of 1 here, and then let me see if I can figure out the right hand side. Why right hand side? Because there's a lot of values of right hand side values given already provided to me. So what I did was, you always start from the inner to the outer. That is how the composite functions, how we deal with composite functions. So g of 1. So I went back to here and saw, like, okay, I have my g of 1, which is a positive 2, so I can replace this by 2, right? And then once I had this, then I was stuck because I have an f of 2 here, and f of 2 is, I don't know f of 2, it's not already provided to me. So I was like stuck for a second, and I thought to myself, so I think this is not the right way of starting this problem. So I stopped right there. So instead of then doing anything or pursuing this further, what I decided to do was, hey, I got to find the h prime of 1. That means I have to find the derivative of h. So let me go back and just right away evaluate or write the derivative of that h function. So guys, if I find the derivative of this, first step what I have to do is I just have to write things out. So finding the derivative of this would be finding the derivative of the right hand side. But the derivative of this I know from the chain rule, and this is where the chain rule comes in. The derivative of this function is f prime of g of x, but we don't stop right there. We still multiply, and that's exactly what the chain rule says. We multiply by the derivative of the inner. And what is here inner inside the parentheses, or what is the inner function? That is the g function, so I have to multiply by g prime of x. That is the first basic step that one needs to do in order to actually evaluate h prime of 1. In this case, we want h prime at 1, derivative of the h function at x equals to 1. So guys, from here, this is basically just rewriting or writing the chain rule in the standard or in the general form. Then what I did in the next step is like what I did like here in the second step was like substituting x equal to 1. Why 1? Because I'm interested in finding h prime of 1. So in order to do that, if I substitute x equal to 1 on the left hand side, I have to substitute x equal to 1 on the right hand side as well. So I carefully substituted 1 for x every time I have x showed up on the right hand side. So this was g of 1 times g prime of 1, right? Once I had this, guys, then I went back and I tried to look at the given pieces of information. Here I have g of 1 is already provided to me. Where is it? Okay, g of 1 is 2, which I already had here as well. So I'm going to replace that. We're going to replace that by 2. Then times g prime of 1. So I went back and I also could find out g prime of 1. G prime of 1 was negative 2. So I wrote negative 2. I replaced g prime of 1 by negative 2. Then guys, moving on, then I have f prime of 2 on the right hand side. I went back here and I tried to find what is f prime of 2. And actually I have f prime of 2 here, which is positive 3. So I replace this f prime of 2 by positive 3, and then I have times negative 2. I can multiply these two. I get a negative 6. So h prime of 1 is negative 6. So we were able to find the derivative of this h function at x equal to 1 given this piece of information. Actually, there's more information already provided to us, but we didn't need to use all of this information. All we needed to use was these two, I guess, and then writing out the chain rule correctly, we were able to find the value for h prime of 1. So guys, again, please look at this example carefully. It is not a difficult example. It's a little tricky one. So you can start with what you feel like starting with, but then I realized, like for me personally, I realized this is not going to take me anywhere. Then I realized I should take the derivative, and then once I took the derivative on both the sides, wrote out the chain rule, I was able to find values from the given pieces of information, put them all together, substitute them, and find the final value. So guys, this is how the mathematics or the techniques in mathematics work, okay? So check out this problem. I will see you next time with another problem.